We're talking printers in Linux Mint. Because of Apple Open Printing Foundation and Linux, printing in Linux is extremely easy. In fact, it's the exact reason why your Apple devices, your Apple phones, and your Android devices can just find a printer on your network and print to it without having a problem. Whenever you plug in your Linux computer to your network, it is going to search your network for whatever printers that it can find. And once it finds them, it's going to say, hey, I'm a printer. And then that printer is going to say, hey, here's my info. And then the Linux computer is going to go, oh, okay, ding, hey, this printer is available for you to print to now. Provided that your admin hasn't gone through and changed things, and provided that you are on the exact same network, printing will just work. Some programs will not let you print to the auto-discovered printers, though. You have to manually add them and make them static in your system before those programs will allow you to print to them. Go to System Settings, search for Printers, click on Printers. Little tiny bit of technical info that you're not really going to need to know before we get started. This right here is my printer's address, and I typed in my IP address to my printer, and then I put it on port 631. That is the IPP print port. What that does is it brings me to the page. This is actually what your printer sees. This is where it's getting all of its info from. And now down here, I am going to search this web page for IPP : //. That's the IPP protocol. And that right there, that URI, that is the URI that I use to send my printer information, or my printed pages over to the printer. We're going to need to know this. Well, not really, but you might. All right, we already have printers open, and as you can see, that right there, copier, that is actually the host name of my copy machine that I have here in my office. And you can see it got automatically added. I didn't have to do jack. But I'm going to show you how to manually add this. So go ahead and click the add button. Inside of the add dialog, click on network printer. It's a little drop down, and it's going to search the network for any printers that it finds. And so long as the IP scheme matches yours, and in this case, our IP scheme is 192.168.1. So long as you're on the same subnet as what this is and have the same scheme, it will find the printers that are on your network. All right, we have two of them. This is the exact same printer, by the way, but they're using two different formats for the URI. One of them is using the copy machine's actual host name, which is copier. The other one is using the IP address. All right, if you have your printer set up with a static IP address, then you are safe to click the second one, the red arrow. However, if you do not have a static IP address set up for your printer, and if you don't know what that is, then you ain't got one set up, then you're going to want to click the top one. That one right there uses the host name on the network. So what happens is anytime that you shut off a device and it doesn't have a static IP or it doesn't have a DHCP reservation, your router will or may issue a different IP address. So the host name never changes, but the IP address might. Okay, that's why you would want to select that green one up at the top. All right, I am going to do both of those, and then I want to talk about this last one down here that I have pointed out with that blue arrow. That right there is the IPP protocol. So say that your printer is not on the same network as you, but like you're able to communicate to it if you were to ping it or something. That right there is what you would select to manually add the printer whenever you don't have it being able to be found by network discovery. After you click the continue button, it'll automatically prompt you to say, hey, print a test page. Go ahead and do that to test it out and make sure that it works, and then double click on the new printer that you installed. All right, this is how to manually add the IPP address. So click on that last option, which is just the Internet Printing Protocol. You can also use the IPPS. The only difference is that one's encrypted, one's not. And I just picked the IPP because I could. Anyway, double click on your address, copy it, and then paste it right over there inside of the URL, and then just click on forward. All right, I allowed that guy to install, and as you can see there, boom, that is the exact URL that I had, or URI that I had, and it works. Some manufacturers, such as Kyocera, offer additional software for Linux. Like they have something called the Print Panel, which allows you to create booklets and do a couple of other cool little things that you can do with your printer. Anyway, you would have to go to the manufacturer's website and then click on their downloads. And sometimes they'll also have special PPD files that have additional like driver settings that the implicit classes don't, that the generic drivers don't. You should know that with the generic drivers, you already have access to pretty much everything that the machine can do. The only time that you wouldn't have access to that sort of stuff is like if you're using one of those big copy machines and it has like a staple finisher and stuff on there. You would likely need to go to the manufacturer's website and actually get their drivers and their software for Linux. Okay, anyway, so like you can change the job option. You can control the media source type, two-sided printing, what output tray that you want, the scaling, all that stuff. And of course, it also goes through and it checks all of your toner statuses, and it'll notify you if you get like a paper jam or anything. Like it just does it automatically. The IPP, it's just awesome. Oh, by the way, if you're a Windows admin, you can use IPP to add a printer to Windows as well. It's just that in the add a printer dialog, you have to go down to the IPP deal, select it, and then put in the same address that you would put in for Linux, and shit'll just work. Anyway, welcome to the easy life.